Raise your hand if you've ever looked at Broomstick Lace and thought, there's no way those loopy loops are behaving for me. Yeah, me too. It's not that there's some magical trick. This stitch just likes to be persuaded. Gently. With smacks. Probably. What's the stitch that made you swear you'd never crochet again, but now you secretly love it? Mine? It was Tunisian and the bullion stitch. We've been through things. You know what I'm saying? Hey, crochet friends. I'm Mo, your crochet companion. What we are learning today, how to work broomstick lace step by step, what tools work best. Yes, a literal broomstick is optional, but hilarious. How to keep those loops looking lovely, not limp or twisted. Ideas for turning this into something wearable and wow-worthy. To start off with, as you can see here, I have a couple of different tools that are normally seen in knitting and not crochet. These are my favorite tools of the trade, but you can use other things. I've seen people use a ruler before. That would work, but this is my favorite, and I would recommend having at least 2 or 3 different sizes because I use my bigger one for when I do like shawls or blankets or afghans, that kind of thing, and then I use my smaller one for when I'm doing more like gloves. I know, gloves, really? You want broomstick lace for gloves? Well, I have done a pair and they looked really neat and they actually weren't too bad, but I also paired it with Tunisian, so it worked out. They were beautiful, by the way. I think it was Tunisian. Maybe it was front post stitch. I don't know. I will share the picture now that I'm thinking about it. I will share the picture here at some point through our journey here so that you can see what I've done with the smaller knitting needle. But for today, because I want you guys to be more familiar, and I find that the bigger the knitting needle, it's a little bit more cozy, comfy to work with. And then I just use a size H or a size G. You can use an H as well. It doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to set those aside real quick. Get into the loopity-loop part. We do need to create a foundation row. That foundation row, you can actually do it with a single crochet, a double crochet, double treble, whatever it is that you want to do. But I recommend that whatever you do decide to do, each row in between the broomstick and you'll understand what I mean a little bit later, you're going to be doing the same stitch in between and the one that secures the broomstick, the loopity loops, okay? So I'm actually going to start with a single crochet foundation row. This would be what I would recommend just until you get your wings under you and you know how to do the stitch, okay? I'm going to go ahead and finish that, complete a single crochet foundation row. If you are not familiar with a single crochet foundation row or any foundation row, I will actually link that video in my description because that has been my lifesaver when I started learning it. It took 20 years before I learned it, but once I did, man, has it been such a great companion. We are going to start in multiples of 5 stitches, so I am actually going to do 25. So I'll do my 25 and I'll be right back to you. Now comes the fun part where you look like you either are a crochet wizard or you are completely unhinged. So let's do this thing. And as you can see, I've got my foundation row done now, the 25 things. We're going to insert our hook into the first single crochet, which is that one right there, and we're going to pull our loop right up on our hook, okay? Just like that. or whatever it is that you're using, whether it's a jumbo knitting needle, a dowel, maybe you're going to use a dowel or a broom handle, Sharpie, whatever it is that you can find. And we're going to do the next stitch. Grab that, pull it up over the stitch. We're just going to keep doing that until we get to the end of our row. Go to our next single crochet, grab our hook. I like to just pull it around, pull it up. And it can be kind of stubborn, so you know, there's that. And then one thing I like about the knitting needle is that it makes it the same size no matter what you do. So then you're going to put your hook into your single crochet, grab your yarn, pull it through, tighten it up. You don't want to twist your work, you don't want to overthink it, so you insert into that single crochet, pull that loop up. I'm sorry, I went a little bit fast at the very beginning because I got excited. This is something that I just absolutely love doing. One of my favorite things to do. Well, I've got too many favorites, right? We're just going to keep going. So single crochet, grab that, up and over. I kind of do the opposite. I got excited, started out too fast, and then I'm slowing down. Okay, so we're going to insert our hook into single crochet, grab our loopity-loop, pull it up over the knitting needle. I'm just going to keep going like this for a few so that you can get the idea. And yes, I just love this stitch. I can't help myself. Absolutely love this part. So we just keep repeating this every single crochet all the way to the end, one loop at a time until all the loops are chilling on your oversized tool like little loopy flamingos. Why I chose the flamingo to equate it to, I have no idea, but whatever works, right? Okay, all right, so I'm going to take this off camera to finish up my row. I think you guys have the general idea. And when we come back, we're going to take our loops off the hook and stitch them together. Okay, got them all on there. So that's kind of what it looks like in the end. And you've got, I always like to kind of double check to make sure I didn't miss any single crochets. And I got every single last one. And you make sure that you get that very last one at the very end. Now, let's tame the chaos, okay? We're going to slide 5 loops off your stick or whatever magic wand you decided to use at a time. So, and you can also do this on the hook, but I find that it's a lot harder that way. So I just slide them off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to just slide them off all gentle like. Don't get too overzealous because they will pull out and then you'll be crying and you'll be blaming Mo. Mo told me to do it. Oop. We don't want to go that far. All right, so now this is the fun part. We're going to grab those 5 loops just like that. We're going to do it. We're going to tame them by putting a single crochet at the top, okay? I don't know why this is so crazy all of a sudden. Okay, so we almost have it there. I'm gonna do that chain of 1 and then a single crochet. That's how I like to get them tamed, okay? Now, I actually find it easier to kind of just put my hook underneath the loops. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You can do it the other way, or the other thing I do is I will just take them off the hook altogether. So this is what it would look like if you did it that way. But first we need to do 4 more single crochets in here, and then we'll tackle the next bunch here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So for every loop that you actually create, you do need to have 1 stitch. So I do this a little bit of a variety sometimes. Sometimes I only want to do 2 loops. So if you're only doing 2 loops, then you're just going to do 2 single crochets or 2 double crochets, whichever it is that you do. If you just want to do 1 loop, you can do that too. 1 single crochet. Do 1 loop at a time. That makes it really lacy looking when you do it that way. So the next one, we're just going to do this while it's still on the hoop. I'm going to just kind of pinch it just a little bit so that I can get my hook underneath. And then I'm going to do a single crochet over top. Whoop. Maybe. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, once you get really good, I'm going to go ahead and slide those off. And then we're going to do our 4 more single crochets in that. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once I got really comfortable with them, this is what I actually did. I just took them all off. And then I made sure that I counted them quite well once I took them off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I find that to not be so awkward, but you do need to make sure you put your yarn in the back. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you will find it awkward until you get a nice little groove. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. As long as you're gentle, you shouldn't lose your loops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other thing you can do is you can do like I do in my hairpin lace. My hairpin lace, I will actually take, before I take the loops off the loom, I will put just a strand of yarn. I will take my needle and put the strand of yarn through all of my loops. That way I have them nice and secure and snug. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you've got a single crochet for each and every loop. So now we're going to go the other way and we're going to do it all over again. Actually, no, we're not going to do it go the other way. I'm thinking that, we're doing like we normally do. We turn our work and we go. But with Broomstick, you don't actually turn your work. Now I'm going to do 1 more row. That way I can show you a different variable. So insert into the next one. So you'll also notice that my first one I don't actually go into because that's your end piece. So it's kind of like, when you do the chain of 2 at the end of your row or at the beginning of your next row. That's kind of what that is that first one, we count that as our first single crochet that we're putting our loop-de-loop in. Okay, single crochet, and then we're going to put this up. All right, so just keep going to the end, and I'm going to be right back. Okay, still with me? Awesome. It's actually a good time. Sometimes you want to make sure that you count your stitches too, because you don't want to make sure that your loops didn't get any funny ideas and form a cult or something. All right, well, I did get all of those loops on there. Now I'm going to do it the way I am more comfortable with. I'm going to slide those off. I wouldn't recommend doing this just yet until you are comfortable doing it, but I am comfortable doing that, so I'm just going to slide them off. And then I'm going to show you a slight variation because you don't always have to do a single crochet and you don't always have to do just 5 loops or 5 loops strictly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually do a stacking stitch to start with. So we're going to do a stacking stitch. And if you don't know how to do a stacking stitch, I actually have a video about the stacking stitch. So the stacking stitch makes it look like a double crochet. And I did that on purpose because that way I could secure my loops with a single crochet, but then I want it to be a double crochet. So we're going to do 2 double crochets because I only did 2 loops. Now we're going to do the next one, the next 2. We don't need to do a stacking stitch. We can just go straight into a double crochet. You'll also notice a little something different once we get to the end. It's kind of fun, actually. It just gives us a little bit of a variety. It gives our loops a little bit of character, right? And it also depends on how lacy you want your work to look. If you want it to look really super lacy, that's when you do fewer loops at a time. Of course, it does take a little bit longer, but doing fewer loops at a time, that makes it lacier. There's 2 loops, 2 double crochets. Two loops, 2 double crochets. And let me tell you what, when you get to your end and you wind up with an odd number, then you know you got to go back and look for that loose, that one random rebellious loop that you missed. Always works that way, right? There's 2. And the bigger your project, the more likely you are going to miss a loop or 2. Okay, last 2, and then we're going to take a real good look at this so you guys can see the difference in how this looks. Look at that. That looks so much different from this right here. If you want it to look more like the traditional broomstick, then you can do the 5 loops. But if you want it to just give a nod to the broomstick lace, then do just the 2. That's the fun of it. And then if you want it to be shorter or smaller broomstick, obviously you can go with the smaller size knitting needle or whatever it is that you want to do, like a Sharpie versus the the ruler. Okay, so from here it's completely up to you how you want to do the rest of your look. All right, so these are my 2 tips and my loopy wisdom. The stitch is extra, but in a good way. It gives shawls and scarves that floaty vintage look without you needing to suffer for it. If your loops are wild and rebellious, your foundation row might be too loose. Try tightening it up next time or switch to a smaller hook for that row. And no, there's not one magical trick, but you'll get the feel for it. It's kind of like riding a unicycle while balancing yarn on your head. It clicks eventually. If this helped unravel the mystery of broomstick lace, or if your loops turned out sassier than mine, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more mischief, texture, and tutorial magic. And if you're still wondering what to make with it, stay tuned. I've got ideas. Until next time, stay loopy on purpose and happy crocheting.